What's up, YouTube? NBA Jerry here. All right. As I'm recording this is the morning. This is Saturday morning, the morning after the Heat just lost Game 2. First of all, let's talk about the Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs series. It's been going good so far. I don't know who's going to win this series. I really don't. It's hard for me to pick it, but if I had to put my money on it, I guess I'd pick the Spurs because they're up 2-0. But to me, the Grizzlies are so tough to beat at home. Honestly, I think they're going to win the next two games, and then Game 5 is going to be the pivotal game. Because remember, man, the Grizzlies have been down before. They've been down 1-0 in the first round, and then they were down 2-0 into the Clippers, and then they were down 1-0 in the series before that to the Thunder. So, and they came back from that. So, but the Spurs are a different team. But we'll see. It's a good matchup. Zebo played terrible the first game, that. And Marc Gasol, he's been decent, but with the combination of Tim Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, the Spurs, with Greg Popovich in the bench and stuff like that, they look like they're trying to make a good run for the championship, but we'll see. Now let's talk about these Heat and the Pacers, man. First of all, Game 1, exciting game. Game 2 was exciting. This is a very, very evenly matched up team. And the thing about it, folks, is Danny Granger is not even playing. Can you imagine? Now, mind you, I truly believe this. Paul George is a better player because Danny Granger is not around. You know what I'm saying? He learned a lot last year from Danny Granger. He's a good player and stuff like that. But then once Danny Granger left, he stepped up in his role big time. And I actually think Paul George is a better player now than Danny Granger was then last year. And And that's why I'll say if Danny Granger was playing all season, I don't believe Paul George would be the player that he is now. So next year, if they all stay together, man, this team is going to be difficult to beat, boy. They're going to be difficult, but they're well coached. They got a good bench. They got everything, man. They got point guards, a solid center, one of the best centers in the league right now in Roy Hibbert. But Game 1 was an interesting game because, everybody talked about LeBron James hitting the game-winning shot, and people asked me what I felt about that. I mean, I felt it was a hell of a play. LeBron James caught the ball and went straight to the basket, and he did what he needed to do, and he made the layup. Nobody was there underneath the basket. It was terrible, terrible defensive strategy by the Pacers. Not just because Roy Hibbert was not in the game. I understand why. Everybody wants to be an armchair quarterback or armchair Monday morning point guard the next day after everything happens. But I understand why they had him out of the game, because if he was in the game, Roy Hibbert, obviously he would have been guarding Chris Bosh, and you got to give, Chris Bosh respect on the perimeter. The guy is a jump shooting machine now. But, LeBron James went to the basket and scored a left-hand layup. But the thing about it is they should have had two men on LeBron James at all times. Dwayne Wade wasn't even in the ball game, okay? Chris Bosh was in the game. You don't have to double-team Chris Bosh because he's just a perimeter threat there. You got to put two people on LeBron and get the ball out of his damn hands, man. They had to do that, and they didn't. You let him catch the ball right where he wanted to and go straight to the basket without any help. That was ridiculous. So, great floor game by LeBron James, great game by the Heat and the Pacers. The Pacers just let that game slip away. Now, Game 2 was interesting coming into it because we didn't know what the mindset of the Pacers was going to be. That could have been, the gift or the curse. They could have been like, oh, man, we lost and folded the next game, but they didn't. They came out like gangbusters, man. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Roy Hibbert is a force to be reckoned with, and he is the man in this series. And I'm going to tell you something, besides LeBron James, but I'm going to tell you something, man. In that fourth quarter, I don't think not one time did Roy Hibbert really get the ball on the block and just be able to go one-on-one with Chris Bosh. And I'm not talking about, him setting the screen and then rolling and getting the ball like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about him just actually setting up on the block, posting his man up, getting the ball, and just taking his man one-on-one, Chris Bosh. I don't think I remember seeing him do that one time. And they still won the game. Okay? Listen, Roy Hibbert is a matchup nightmare for the Heat. And they're not using him. Frank Vogel's a great coach, man, but I don't know. You got to give Roy Hibbert the ball more. Dwayne Wade right now, he's playing decent, but he's a shell of himself because of the injuries. LeBron James, obviously, like Charles Barkley said, and I've said this before too, the man is a weapon of mass destruction. The guy is absolutely unstoppable. At the end of the game, he made two terrible passes, and this is why I say the NBA is 90% mental in life. because Roy Hibbert was in the game, and I know LeBron James always tries to make the right play. He's not a selfish guy. He's a pass-first superstar. And I'm not saying he made a terrible play trying to make a pass, but, you let David West steal 2 of your passes 2 times in a row in the crunch time. And that's when it counts. Yeah, every play counts, of course, but he knows he messed up, and nobody blames him for the loss, because if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't even been nowhere. They would have got blown out. I mean, as simple as that. The Pacers are a better team than the Heat right now, but the difference is the Pacers have LeBron. I mean, the Heat have LeBron and the Pacers don't. It's just as simple as that, man. And I'm going to tell you something. My boy called me today and asked me who I think is going to win this series. If I don't think there was any kind of influence on anything else, I think the Pacers would win this series. But because I know for a fact that the ratings would be so horrendous if the Pacers and the Spurs go to the finals, I'm still going to pick the Heat. I'm sorry. I just don't see David Stern in his last year as a commissioner of this league, of our wonderful league, to let the Pacers and the Spurs go to the NBA Finals. That would be, and you guys know, a lot of you guys, I'm not saying you guys are not hardcore NBA fans or whatever, but a lot of y'all would not watch every single one of the games in the finals if the Pacers and the damn San Antonio Spurs went, to the championship series. And y'all know that. I wouldn't even watch it, all the games. And I'm just being honest with you. And I love NBA basketball, but that would be not a fun series to watch because there's no really superstar marquee players. And that's why I say the NBA is all about, this is a players' league, and I'm telling you, man, the Heat are in some serious trouble because they could easily be down 2-0. They're not. I still think they definitely can. They're going to have to win in Indiana. I think they're definitely going to win in Indiana. It's going to be tough, but if the Heat keep playing the way they're playing, they got to change something, man. And Dwayne Wade has to step his game up and not let LeBron James is doing everything, man. The guy's doing everything. And, and I always say, the NBA and life is 90% mental. And it is. And I've talked about this before. This is what I call the game within the game. Okay? And this is why I say LeBron James is the most disrespected NBA superstar in league history. This is why I say this. LeBron James is the man. Okay? He is the man, period. In the NBA, he's the man on this team. He's just the man. But he doesn't get the man treatment. Okay, here's what I mean. He doesn't carry himself that way all the time, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. You guys seen him play when Paul George, went right past LeBron James and dunked on Chris Anderson's head in the foul. You guys seen that, all right? Now, everybody gets blown by this NBA, especially with a great player like Paul George. Blew right by him and dunked on him, all right? Then LeBron James comes down, hits an incredible 30-foot shot. He knew it was going in, too. If you got it on DVR, if you watch it on SportsCenter, you can see after he let the ball go, he didn't really change the reaction because he just knew the ball was going in. And he gave, Paul George a look like, yeah, it's on now, like me and you, mano a mano, one-on-one. And he was the one acknowledging Paul George about it. He was going to Paul George like, yeah, I'm here to duel you. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be that way. Paul George should be coming to LeBron. It's a pecking order. And LeBron James went over there and he put his hand out to Paul George. Same thing he did with Roy Hibbert. When LeBron James did the jump ball with Roy Hibbert, he grabbed him and stuff like that. He wasn't being rough, and he went over there and slapped his hand and stuff. That's the type of guy LeBron James is. And this is what I'll be talking about, the game within the game. And I hate to say it, but Paul George has no business trying to match up or even be coming close to the level of LeBron James' play. But the reason why he does, because LeBron James mentally is not as tough as superstars like Kobe and Wade and Michael Jordan. He's just not. And I'm going to give you an example. When LeBron James is on defense against Paul George, you don't see Paul George looking scared when he's dribbling the ball. And you guys as basketball players, you know what I'm talking about. If you're a basketball player and you're a ball handler and you got a really, really good defender, a really good player on you, you tend to turn your body to the side or put your forearm up to, make sure he doesn't steal it. Or you just try to overprotect the ball because this guy's guarding you is really, really an elite defender and you don't want him to steal the ball. Paul George ain't doing that against LeBron James. He's just not. And the same thing when Paul George is on defense. He doesn't look nervous or scared against LeBron James at all. And you can't read that on a damn stat sheet. And I be telling y'all that. So, and of course, the half-truth. He's just going crazy. Dissing LeBron James and calling me LeJerry and all this stuff. Everything LeBron does. It's so funny. Yeah, the way he just totally disses LeBron, man. And because once I see them messed up them two passes, I just knew it didn't matter what LeBron did during the game. He was gonna diss him to no end until the cows came home. And even when LeBron in the half truth, even when LeBron made the game winning shot, you knew he was gonna spin that stuff like a top. You know what I'm saying? And also he's been telling people that he's been owning me and all this stuff. Whatever. That dude's funny. If I really sat down and had a debate with the half truth, y'all know what would happen. I mean, he's not even a challenge to me. He's my boy. Love him to death. He's like a brother from another mother, man. I love that boy. But he knows he ain't no competition to me. And just because he says he's undefeated, he's the champ, don't mean he's the champ in no debate, especially against me. But that doesn't even need to be said. I don't even know why I brought that up. But anyways, man, let me know what you guys think about the game so far. I'm still going to pick the Heat for the fact of, I'm not saying the games are fixed fully, but I just do not believe David Stern's going to let the Heat lose. I'm sorry, and so far I have not been wrong about that, especially with the Spurs lurking in the Western Conference. I could see if it was the Thunder, had some marquee players with the Thunder. Thunder's against the Pacers, that definitely wouldn't be as good as the Thunder with the Heat, against the Heat, but with no Thunder, no Lakers on the West, and being the Spurs, there is no way they're going to let that happen. That would be worse than the Spurs against the Detroit Pistons in 2005, man. For real. So let me know you guys' thoughts on the Heat and the Pacers series, and also the Spurs and the Grizzlies, and what you guys think about the game within the game. LeBron James basically choking at the end of the game, and also his game-winning shot. All right? Thanks.